worship their ancestors reach their ancestors, and those who worship ghosts and wandering souls go in the midst of them. The depths of karma philosophy. Whomever we remember, accordingly we will go amongst them. Today we find, still in the world, there are people doing so much of black magic. Invoking ghosts, invoking wandering souls to get their task done in an impure way. But they do not understand the depths of karma, that when they leave their body, they will go into that wandering souls only, where others will also use them, as they have used other wandering souls. And those who worship the ancestors, they go towards them. Wherever they have taken birth, they go to them. And those who worship divine beings as God, out of ignorance, they go near them. So this is how we see the bhakti also in the world is sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Those worshipping or invoking the wandering souls is tamasic bhakti. It's not bhakti actually. It's tamasic. The most impure form of getting their task accomplished. And then he says, hey Arjuna, whatever is offered to me, either fruit, flowers or anything with faith, whatever gross things, superficial things is also offered to me, I accept it. Because the faith is seen by God. God does not see what we are offering. He sees the faith in the hearts. I accept it. So Arjuna, whatever worship you perform, surrender it to me. When there will be complete sacrifice, then you will become the embodiment of yoga and get liberated from the bondages of the action. So that's why, since beginning in bhakti, the period of bhakti also, the first temples that were constructed in India were the temples of Shiva, 12 Jyotirlingams, whom the deities also worshipped. So they were the first original temples that were built in India, whom Sri Ram also worshipped, Sri Krishna also worshipped. So the most ancient temples are those. Afterwards, we started making temples of those who worshipped Shiva also, Sri Ram and Sri Krishna. We started making their temples. And today we find in the world there are so many temples of great souls also, who have just been some years back, whom we also have seen with our physical eyes, and today we see their temple is being constructed. So this is how, when in the Copper Age, those souls descended, they also recollected the memories of the divine beings and they constructed their temples. But they forgot the original Supreme, whom the deities also worshipped. That was forgotten. And we started worshipping them. And today in the world we find people are worshipping human beings as gods, and who claim themselves to be gods. And people are so much having faith in them. They never claimed to be gods, but human beings started preaching about them as gods. This is the greatest part that we see in today's generation. And people do not even logically ask, how can he be God? How can we make a temple of him? No. And then further in the 10th chapter, the expansion of the divine personality, Vibhuti Vistar Yoga, the unlimited praise of the infinite truth, all the miraculous incidents exhibiting physical power beauty, prosperity, or excellence, whether they are from this world or the spiritual world, they are the expressions of God's divine personality and prosperity. Hence, the Supreme Soul is highly worship-worthy amongst all the living beings due to all these reasons. So, from verse 1 to verse 7, the narration of God's personality, the power of yoga, and the fruit of knowing this. Then, from verse 8 to verse 11, the narration of the yoga of devotion along with its fruit and influence. From verse 12 to verse 18, the praise of the greatness of God and His personality and a humble request to reveal the power of yoga by Arjuna. And from verse 19 to verse 42, the narration by God Himself of His divine personality and the power of yoga. So gradually He is revealing His real identity. And then we see, He says, I have feelings of equality towards all living beings in the world, no hatred or partiality towards anyone. But those who serve me with special loveful feelings are my friends, and I am their friend. How God becomes a friend also. That is why we hear stories of Khuda Dost. Khuda, God as a friend. And He becomes a friend, and He is the most loyal friend, and He knows how to maintain a friendship on the basis of that loyalty. We human beings may be misbehaving with Him, or we may not be accurately moving with that loyalty, but He is so loyal. He is such a good friend. And you can experience that friendship, which is not a physical friendship. And as he said, his feelings are of equality towards all, no partiality. But it is on the basis of the worthiness of the soul to receive and the experience of his love. It depends upon how the patra is, the patra of the mind and intellect. If the patra is polluted, we do not realize his feelings of love and purity. If the patra is impure, we cannot realize him. But the more pure the patra of our mind and intellect is, as much we can realize his love and experience that. So he is impartial, but each one is able to experience on the basis of his patra. And then he says, those who are utterly cruel but have a faithful intellect and come in my protection with special loveful feelings, do service. He is worthy to be praised as a saint. He attains the highest peace and never gets perished. Then what can be said of the religious souls, even impure souls who have cruelty, but they take the protection of God. They surrender themselves to God. They have special loveful feelings for God. And they do service. They do serve humanity. They are worthy to be praised as a saint. If they are also given such love by God, then what can be said about the religious souls, the Brahmins, yogis, Rajrishis? They are quite elevated. Thus, hey Arjuna, Man mana bhav madhyaji bhava. Surrender your mind to me and become equal to Vishnu. Madhyaji bhava. Madhyaji bhava means Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. These are the three gods. So in the Madhya is Vishnu. So become equal to Vishnu in his qualities. So who is saying this? Is Krishna himself saying this? This shows how God is taking the support of that body and is revealing his form. And he tells him, become equal to Vishnu in his qualities. Like Vishnu, as Vishnu has that divinity, he is also 16 celestial degrees, so become like him. And how can we become like him? Man manabhav, surrender your mind to me. The moment I surrender myself to God, the Supreme, then only I can become in my nature like Vishnu. We can divinize our sanskaras. Further he says, God, whilst revealing the secretive elevated knowledge of his creation, to his loved one Arjuna says that neither the deities nor the enlightened saints know the secret of my creation. It is so secret. Gupta, rahasyamay. Only those knowledgeful ones who are void of attachment and sins know the real form of the one who is beyond birth and rebirth, eternal, and the Lord of all the worlds. That is, they know me. Why he is saying this again and again to Arjuna? Because still Arjuna is in the bondage of attachment. And he wants to liberate him only from that bondage of attachment of his own near and dear ones, so that he can win the battle of life. Because it is not so easy to let go of attachment. People may say, I am not at all attached to my things, materialistic, to my children, my family members. But to come out of the attachment is it requires deep efforts. Then only we can come out. Otherwise, we are in an illusion at times. Oh, I am least concerned. I am least concerned about the family members and this and that. Oh, there is attachments in so many births. And to overcome all those strings is difficult. Then he says, the qualities that are existing in the human souls are the divine sanskaras bestowed by me. I have bestowed upon them through my thought power. Again he reminds him, whatever I do through my thought power, through the vibrations. That is why they are the creation of my thoughts. It is said when God had the thought of creating the world, he created through the power of his thoughts. He gave this thought to Brahma, and Brahma created the whole world through his power of thoughts. And we never understood. We were listening to this in the scriptures many times in such spiritual discourses, but we never understood or never even asked, how will Brahma create through the power of thoughts? Now we realize how through vibrations